Are seed oils really worse than sugar? We've all been told sugar's bad. It rots our teeth, it spikes our blood sugar, it fuels obesity. We know this stuff. For the last 20 years, it's been blamed for everything. The obesity crisis is all because we eat too much sugar and we don't move ourselves enough. In other words, it's our fault. We're lazy, we're greedy, we're addicted, but here's the twist. There's something even worse hiding in your cupboards and almost in almost every restaurant meal, and hardly any of our medical experts even have it on their radar. Seed oils. Yes, of course sugar is bad. No one's coming away from that, but your body can burn it off. And so in some cases, your body can burn it off in hours. But seed oils, on the other hand, fake, chemically processed industrial seed oils, they don't just burn off, they get stored in your fat, in your organs, and even in your cell walls. And then they sit there for years, quietly sabotaging your health. Hi, I'm Emma Voysey, and I help people lose fat and restore energy and reverse disease and feel younger than they have done in decades. And today I want to explain to you why seed oils are the hidden poison in our modern diet, why they're actually worse than sugar, and what you can do to get them out of your body for good. So, part one, what exactly are seed oils? Let's clear this up first, because I get a lot of kickback when people say, yeah, but linseed's healthy, and what about olive oil, and what about avocado oil? When I say seed oils, I mean the cheap industrial ones. That's sunflower, soybean, safflower, canola, known as rapeseed in the UK, corn, cottonseed, rice bran, grapeseed. They sound healthy, don't they? Because vegetable and plant and vegetable oil sounds healthy. It's from a plant. It's made from something. It's made from something in nature. Sunflower's beautiful, but you can't squeeze oil out of a soybean or a sunflower seed by hand. These oils have to be crushed and superheated and chemically bleached and then deodorized. You wouldn't let them anywhere near your body otherwise, because they smell absolutely disgusting. They're an industrial product, not real food, not in any shape or form. Oh, bright sunshine today, which is lovely. So before about 100 years ago, nobody was eating these oils. We cooked with butter and lard and tallow and olive oil and coconut oil, all stable and all natural. Why did seed oils take over? Two reasons. They were cheap and they lasted on the shelves. Room temperature, no need for refrigeration. Food companies loved them. Doctors told us they were heart healthy, and slowly but surely the traditional fats totally disappeared from our kitchens. Why seed oils are so toxic? So Dr. Cate Shanahan, who wrote Dark Calories, she calls seed oils toxic fats, and here's why. They're polyunsaturated fats, shortened to PUFAs. Their molecules are really fragile, and they're full of these weak links called double bonds. Think of those little bonds as loose screws in a fence. Oxygen can sneak in, rattle the screws, and before you know it, the whole structure wobbles and collapses. That process is oxidation, and you already know what it looks like in the real world, even if you've never heard the word before. If you slice an apple open, it goes brown. If you leave metal outside in the rain, or if you leave your bike outside in the rain, like I used to get told off for regularly as a child, it will rust. Forget a bag of nuts in the cupboard and then they're going to taste rancid. That's oxidation. And the scary part is the exact same thing is happening inside your body when you eat seed oils. Oxidation and the domino effect. So here's where it gets really nasty. Once one of those weak bonds in a PUFA gets hit by oxygen, it doesn't stop there. It's like toppling the first domino in a line. One falls and then another, and so on until billions have gone down in seconds. Chemists call these toxic byproducts lipid oxidation products, or LOPs. You don't need to remember the term, just remember this: they are poisons. And unlike sugar, which your body can burn off fairly quickly, these toxic fragments hang around and they damage your cell membranes and irritate your tissues and even mess with your DNA. So picture this in your kitchen. You've just fried chips in a pan of oil and you've left it sitting out on the side. And a few hours later, the whole room stinks of grease. That smell is oxidation products. So toxins escaping into the air. Inside your body, it's just the same, only worse. Instead of just your kitchen walls being messed up, it's your arteries, your organs, and your brain being coated in this invisible toxic smoke. And because poofers have so many of these weak double bonds, oxidation doesn't just happen once, it keeps rolling. And one damaged fat molecule sparks off the next and the next, like oxygen is a vandal with a spray can, tagging every cell in sight. The rust inside you. So think of it like rust, like that rusty bike you left out in the rain. One rusty patch on that bike chain, it'll spread until the whole thing seizes up. You wouldn't pour more rusty petrol into your car and expect it to run smoothly, but that's what happens when you keep fueling your body with these seed oils. You're literally feeding the rust. Or think of a bowl of fruit or a bowl of tomatoes. One bad apple doesn't stay politely rotten on its own, or one bad tomato. It's going to infect the whole bowl. It spreads, doesn't it? Seed oils work in the same way across your fat stores, into your fat stores. One oxidized molecule spreads its damage to all the other molecules. And here's the really terrifying part. The damage doesn't stop at fat. These toxic breakdown products, they can latch onto proteins and our DNA, creating absolute chaos in our cells. And that means more inflammation, more damage, and more wear and tear on the body. This is why scientists link seed oils to everything from heart disease and fatty liver to dementia and cancer. Can antioxidants save you? So people often ask, yes, but can't antioxidants fix this? Yes and no. Antioxidants can interrupt that chain reaction, like slipping a crooked domino into the line so it stops falling. That's why vitamin C, vitamin E, and polyphenols in real food, they can be so protective. But here's the thing. When you're flooding your body with fragile, oxidation-prone seed oils, antioxidants, they simply can't keep up. It's like sending one fireman with a bucket to put out a blazing house fire. He might slow it for a minute, but the fire's going to just keep on spreading. Why saturated fats are different. So let's now compare this to saturated fats. Your butter, your ghee, your coconut oil, your beef tallow, your lard. These fats have no double bonds, no loose screws for the oxygen to grab onto. Imagine now that your dominoes are glued onto the table. You can huff and puff all you want, but they are not falling down. That's why saturated fats are stable. They don't oxidize. They don't oxidize easily. They don't create billions of toxic fragments, and they don't fill your body with chemical smoke. This is why traditional fats have been used safely for centuries. This is why we're here today. Butter doesn't go rancid in a week. Beef tallow doesn't stink out your kitchen. Coconut oil doesn't rust your insides. We didn't have these dangerous industrially produced seed oils until Procter & Gamble introduced them into the food chain about 100 years ago. And they originally, they were looking for an alternative to beef tallow to use in their soap because beef tallow had become so expensive and difficult to get enough of it. So they found that this producing seed oils in this way, they could make it into this white fat, which was a good double for tallow in their soap. But we're talking soap, a cleaning substance. And then some bright spark at Procter & Gamble suddenly came out with the idea that, hey, we could use this instead of beef tallow in the food. And the rest is history. So when you fuel your body with these stable fats, the mitochondria, those little power plants, those batteries in your cells, they burn like dry logs on fire. No smoke, no soot, just steady energy. Seed oils, on the other hand, are like damp wood. They sputter and smoke and they leave a mess. And when your body finally burns this stuff, the energy yield is really weak. It's like 30% or more lower than burning saturated fats. So it's like trying to light damp firewood. Lots of smoke, very little heat. Why it lingers for years. So here's the final kick in the teeth. Sugar, bad as it is, burns off in hours. But seed oils, they stay. And studies have shown us that these damaged fats can remain trapped in our fat tissue for years. The half-life, the time it takes for around just half of it to clear out, is about 2 years. And somebody left a very spiky comment on the channel the other day and disputing this and saying it was a load of rubbish and I was making things up. Please don't shoot the messenger. I don't make this stuff up. It's in the research, it's out there, everybody can find this information. Studies, notably, work cited by Dr. Cate Shanahan and earlier that by Lanz and colleagues, all the references are down in the description, in the 1980s, they show us that linoleic acids, the main omega-6 in PUFAs, in those seed oils, has a half-life of around 1 to 2 years in the human body. That means if you stop eating seed oils today and you never let another chip or a crisp or a protein shake with sunflower oil in it pass your lips, in 2 years' time, you're still going to have roughly half of what you stored still in your body tissues. In 4 years, a quarter. In 6 years, an eighth, and so on. So mathematically, it never actually hits zero. But by 8 to 10 years, you're going to have diluted it out to a tiny fraction. But you'd still have some, but the bulk of it is gone. So yes, this is a thing, I'm not making it up. So if you quit seed oils today, it can take the best part of the next decade before your fat stores are going to be mostly free of this stuff. So every mouthful of fried food, every cheap supermarket biscuit, every heart-healthy spread, it isn't just a one-time mistake. It's a long-term investment in toxic fat storage that you're going to be paying back with your health for years. Eat the crisps fried in the sunflower oil today, and 2 years from now, half of that oil is still going to be in your fat. So if sugar's like a one-night stand with your metabolism, seed oils are like that toxic relationship that you just can't easily get out of. This is why so many people crash when they first try a keto or going low carb. They cut out all the sugars, their body digs into the stored fat, but that's laced with these seed oils and it's just low-grade fuel. Energy flatlines, they think, I can't do this. No, it's not that you can't do it, it's just that you're running on really low-grade fuel. You're running on rusty petrol. Lustig's hateful, the real roots of chronic disease. So Dr. Robert Lustig has this brilliant way of simplifying things, and he says that the big killers of modern life, they are diabetes, heart disease, dementia, fatty liver, even cancer, but they all share the same 8 root causes. He calls this the hateful 8. So these are his hateful 8. Oh, such a beautiful day in Andorra today, isn't it? It's just turned to autumn, so the mornings are cold. That's why I had my coat on, and then the sun comes out, and just amazing, amazing. The last vitamin D of the summer. So let's walk through each one of his hateful 8 in plain English with a story that you'll recognise, explaining how seed oils just pour petrol on the fire. So number 1, glycation, sugar's sticky mess. Imagine you've just spilt a sugary drink on your kitchen counter and then you never wipe it up. It gets really sticky, it goes hard eventually, it attracts dirt, flies, it becomes impossible to clean up. That's what sugar does inside your body. It sticks to proteins, it gums them up and it makes them malfunction. Seed oils, they make this worse by stressing your metabolism. So insulin, the fat storage hormone, stays high all the time, which turbocharges that glycation process. How to fight back? Keep the sugar low or get rid of it altogether. Keep your insulin down and your proteins will stay clean. And number 2, oxidative stress, rust on the inside. So it's actually my mum said to me the other day, can you explain oxidative stress? She was reading Dr. Cate Shanahan's book and she said, it's very sciencey, I just don't understand it. So I'm trying to put it into really simple terms in case you don't understand it either. Oxidation, this is oxygen acting like a vandal, attacking fragile molecules. And just like as I explained earlier, when your apple goes brown when it's exposed to oxygen, or metal goes rusty when you leave your bike outside, your cells literally rust when exposed to too many oxidized fats. Seed oils are the worst offenders for this because they oxidize faster than any other fat. Once they're inside you, they generate billions of these toxic fragments that spread like wildfire, causing inflammation. So how to fight back? Ditch the seed oils, obviously. Use stable fats like butter, ghee, olive oil, tallow, coconut oil, even lard. much, much better choice because they don't oxidize easily. You can leave tallow out for months and it won't oxidize. It will do eventually, and it will eventually, if you heat and superheat it many, many times, like they do with seed oils, yes, then it would oxidize. But in the normal course of events, it doesn't oxidize easily. So it's a much safer alternative. Number 3, mitochondrial dysfunction, the power cut. Your mitochondria, remember those little batteries, little power packs inside each of our cells. Easy way to remember them, I think of them as our cell batteries. So imagine plugging in your phone and instead of it charging to 100%, it sticks at 20% and then it keeps dying. That's what happens when your mitochondria are just fed weak, damaged fats from seed oils. So they just don't get it. It's just like you want them to power up and they just don't because you're feeding them inferior fuel. Instead of burning clean fuel, they choke on the smoke and the result is fatigue, brain fog, and eventually chronic disease. It's inevitable. So how to fight back? Feed your mitochondria clean fuel, stable fats, the ones I've just been talking about, quality protein, and periods of fasting to reset their engines. Number 4, insulin resistance, the boy who cried wolf. Insulin's job is to knock on the door of your cells and say, hey, let this sugar in. But when insulin's knocking all day long, and thanks to junk food and seed oils and constant snacking, your cells get fed up and they just stop answering. That's insulin resistance. So seed oils worsen this by inflaming your cells and wrecking the cell membranes, the little surrounding shell of each of the cells. And so the door locks, they literally break. How to fight back? Stop snacking, stop the oils, and let your cells learn how to listen to insulin again. Learn how to open the door again. Because if the door's shut, the locks are glued shut with rust, then your blood sugar is going to be high all the time. And that is a real recipe for disaster. You don't want that to be happening. Number 5, membrane instability, cracks in the walls. So every cell in your body has a membrane, a shell, like a protective wall. It should be flexible and strong and able to let the right things in and out, because inside your cell, that's where your energy is made. Seed oils get built into those walls, but because they're fragile, they crack and crumble, and it would be like building a house out of wet cardboard instead of bricks. That's what your cell membranes are like if they're built of seed oils. So how to fight back? Rebuild with strong materials, saturated fats and omega-3s from fish, from meat and from eggs. Hello. And then you've got number 6, inflammation, the fire that won't go out. Inflammation is your body's alarm system. In short bursts, it's life-saving. But imagine that fire alarm blaring all day and all night, even when nothing's burning. That's chronic inflammation. And chronic just means it's there all the time. So seed oils are like faulty wiring that they keep triggering the alarm. That their breakdown products constantly irritate the tissues, keeping you really inflamed. How to fight back? You want real food, reduce your stress management, sleep, so important, sleep like it's your job. And most importantly, cut out the oils that are fanning those flames. And number 7, you've got methylation issues, broken instructions. Methylation is like proofreading your body's instruction manual. It switches genes on and off, and it repairs DNA, and it keeps your systems running nice and smoothly. But when seed oils flood the system with toxic byproducts, it's like spilling ink all over the page. So now your body misreads the instructions, which can lead to errors, which will pile up over time. So how to fight back? Nutrient-dense foods, again, with B vitamins, meat, eggs, leafy greens. That will support methylation. And avoiding toxic oils stops new ink spills. Number 8, broken autophagy. The rubbish collectors go on strike. So autophagy is your body's recycling service. Old broken cells get cleaned up and replaced. It keeps you young and resilient. But when seed oils damage the mitochondria and they cause this constant oxidative stress, autophagy grinds to a halt. Imagine your bin men have gone on strike, and they've gone on strike for months. And if you live in Birmingham in the north of England, this is a reality for you, because this has been the situation. In 2025, the bin men went on strike back in March. And as far as I know, the dispute's still going on, and they had to get the military in to clean up because obviously the rubbish piled up so high and the rats had moved in and everything was stinking. That is what happens in your body where, without working off to autophagy to clean up, because obviously the rubbish piled up so high and the rats had moved in and everything was stinking. That is what happens in your body where, without working off to autophagy. So how to fight back? Listen to the jays. How to fight back? Fasting and exercise kickstart autophagy. So clearing out the rubbish and making space for new healthy cells. So when Dr. Lustig talks about the hateful eight, it isn't just theory, it's the nuts and bolts of why modern disease has absolutely exploded. And seed oils are at the heart of it, unfortunately, fueling oxidation, inflammation and cell damage at every stage. If you want to fight back against chronic disease, you don't need 8 separate solutions. Start by hitting the oils that attack all 8 root causes in one go. Easy, right? Dr. Robert Lustig says the big killers today, diabetes, heart disease, dementia, fatty liver, cancer, they aren't separate. They share the same root causes, they share the same root processes. They are the hateful eight, his hateful eight. So seed oils hit at least 5 of these. They trigger that oxidative stress, they wreck those cell membranes, they inflame the tissues, they damage the mitochondria, they worsen our insulin resistance. That's why they are worse than sugar. They attack your body on multiple fronts. Part 6, seeds versus seed oils. So at this point, people might ask, so if sunflower oil is bad, what about sunflower seeds? Good question. Seeds themselves, they aren't dangerous. They're little embryos. They are designed to survive until they sprout. So they have antioxidants built into them. The danger starts when we strip away all those antioxidants and we expose the fragile fats inside them to heat and chemicals and oxygen, and then we put it in a plastic bottle. By the time that vegetable oil hits your cupboard, it's already damaged. Heated in a fryer, toxic load times 10. So part 7, why banning trans fats made it even worse. So remember trans fats? Doctors rightly called them out and bans came in and restaurants switched. Not to saturated fats, mind you. Victory for public health, right? Not really, because what they did switch to was buckets of liquid seed oils. Trans fats weren't good. No one's making any bones about that. But at least they resisted oxidation. Seed oils oxidize fast, really quickly. In restaurants, they coat the walls with sticky lacquer, they ruin uniforms, they cause laundromat fires. And in China, studies show that non-smoking women who are cooking daily with vegetable oils in their homes, they're at a higher risk of lung cancer just from breathing in those fumes. The cure was worse than the disease. Part 8, real life consequences. So what does all this mean for you? Fatigue. Running on poor quality fuel is going to leave you tired all the time. It's the complaint that GPs or MDs have most often from people coming into their offices. Doctor, I'm so tired. I'm just tired all the time. It's so common that they have letters for it. They just write TATT, tired all the time. Brain fog. How many people do you know that complain about brain fog and that they can't think straight and they can't finish their sentences? Oxidized fats damage the membranes in our brains, stop them from working properly. Dementia is at all-time high levels. There's so much of it. It's so prevalent. It's so normal. It's so prevalent that it's become completely normal for old people to get dementia. This wasn't always the case. 100 years ago, people didn't get, they still got dementia, of course they did, but it wasn't at the extraordinary levels that we're seeing today, and earlier too, which is super worrying, isn't it? Joint pain. How many people do you know that you just think an inevitable part of getting older is that everything's going to start hurting, and it doesn't have to. I reversed my joint pain. I used to have really achy knees. They don't hurt anymore. And achy shoulders. I don't even think about it because they're not there anymore. The shoulders are there, just not the aches are there. So joint pain, inflammation driven by these oils, hits the cartilage and the connective tissue, causes joint pain. Belly fat. Seed oils worsen insulin resistance, so fat clings to the middle. And I'd add another one onto there, pain in the gut. I've got so sensitive to seed oils now because I hardly ever eat them, that when I do get gut pain, I had it on Monday, because on Sunday I'd eaten a dessert in a restaurant, and looking back, I don't doubt that it had some seed oil in it. Coconut flan, it wasn't even very nice, it was too sweet. But, you know, I ate it, and on Monday, I had gripey pain down here. And I used to think that, well, I just didn't know. I spent 10 years trying to figure out my gut pain. And it wasn't just seed oils, it was SIBO and SIFO as well. But, you know, it was all adding to the problem. So gut pain, there's another one on the list. This isn't just theory, it's everyday reality for millions of us who think that, millions of people who wrongly think that they're eating healthy vegetable oil. So part 9, how do we get them out? There's no magic pill, unfortunately. The only way is to burn them off slowly, patiently. Here's how. Number 1, big one, stop adding more. Don't have the dessert on a Sunday. Check the labels. 80% of processed foods contain these seed oils. If it comes in a packet, it probably has them. Even healthy, things that you might think of as healthy. I was looking at the ingredients of some protein shakes yesterday, and you know, here's what I found. Look at the list of ingredients inside this protein shake, and of course seed oils in there. If it comes in a packet, it probably has them. Number 2, cook with real fats. That's your butter, your ghee, your coconut oil, your olive oil, your tallow, avocado oil, and lard, safe at higher temperatures. These are stable fats. Number 3, eat real food. Meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruit. If it has 20 ingredients in a list on the back of a packet, then leave it alone. Number 4, fasting wisely. Periods without food force your body to burn your stored fat, including that backlog of seed oils that's stored. It might not be very good fuel. You might feel a bit tired. You might have to supplement with animal fats like butter and tallow to get you through those times when you feel really weak and you've got no energy. It can feel rough at first, but you will break through. And number 5, support your mitochondria. Antioxidants from real food. That's vitamin C, vitamin E, polyphenols. They help protect against oxidation as you clear out that junk. Part 10, why this changes everything. So we've been told fat is bad, but it's not that simple. It's just that the wrong kinds of fat are bad. Sugar is harmful. No one's saying anything other than that. That's like let's draw that as a line in the sand. Sugar is harmful. We know that. We're not coming away from that at all. But seed oils, they are even worse because they don't just pass through. They become part of you. If you want to protect your heart, your brain, your metabolism, and even dodge Lustig's hateful 8, then the most powerful move that you can make is to ditch those seed oils. So here's your takeaway. Seed oils are worse than sugar. They sit in your fat, they corrode your cells, and they sabotage your energy. The fix is simple, but it's not easy. You have to stop eating them, you have to burn through the backlog and fuel your body with real stable fats instead. Download the free guide I've put down in the description, 5 steps to reset your metabolism after 40. Subscribe for more science-based myth busting. And share this with a friend who still has that bottle of vegetable oil in their kitchen. This was just an overview, an introduction. I highly recommend that you read Dr. Cate Shanahan's book, Dark Calories. It is absolutely fascinating. You will never think about seed oils the same way afterwards. You just can't. It's mind-blowing, and there's so much more that I haven't even finished the book yet. Yeah, I've just read half of it. It's just wow. Really, this information needs to be out there. She's researched this for the last 20 plus years, since the early 2000s. Or listen to her on Audible, so you can listen to it as an audio, but she goes into so much more depth than I've gone into here. So because once you see seed oils for what they really are, you're never going to look at vegetable oil the same way again. I'm Emma Voysey. This is Andorra. This is Mikey. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. I hope you've learned something. And if you did enjoy it, I've got loads more like this on my channel. Please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't done already. And watch one of these two next. Until next time, stay strong, nourish, don't punish, eat the good foods, and cheerio for now.